In today's Leeds news, Leeds interest in fullback, Leeds Women lift Silverware, bid for Norwich winger, and the weekend's rumour mill wrap up. Morning folks, Jay here at The View on Monday morning, the 5th of August. Heading into the first week of the football season after a very impressive performance by Leeds United at the weekend against Valencia and a really good win in that game as well. We will be doing a match day review tonight on the channel. Jerry McNamee, formerly of LS11, will be joining me this evening. I'm trying to speak to Andrew Stats-Dalton as well to see if he's available tonight. But we will be doing a match review from the game over the course of the weekend. Also, at about 4 o'clock today, I'm going to be sitting down to do an interview with Kieran Maguire, the football finance expert. I have a question on the community tab if you want to check that out about any questions you would like to ask Kieran. As I said in the post, keep them clean and keep them relevant. And I'm happy to ask Kieran the questions when we sit down and talk. That video will likely go out at some point tomorrow afternoon, just with the algorithm and how it works and just making sure I don't overburden the algorithm with more videos in one day. So keep an eye out for that tomorrow. But again, if you want to ask a question, have a look at the questions that are in the community tab. If your question is already there, give it a heart. If it's not, pop it in and I'll try and ask Kieran later on this afternoon. But it's at 4 o'clock today and I'll get those questions asked and then hopefully answered before tomorrow. Right, moving on to the news, and we'll start off with Leeds' interest in the fullback area. And according to reports over the weekend, Leeds United are said to have an interest in Wolverhampton Wanderers' Spanish left-back Hugo Bueno. This report comes from the founder of the Talking Wolves podcast, David Azapardi. And he basically is saying that Leeds United are amongst a couple of clubs interested in Hugo Bueno. The defender spent the last 5 seasons at Wolverhampton Wanderers, and Azapardi believes Leeds will make a loan move for the player with no option or obligation to buy. It would be a straight up loan should Leeds make the move for the player. Bueno has clocked up 24 appearances so far under Gary O'Neill already, but isn't seen as a key player for Wolves this season and is likely to go out and get loan minutes before coming back to Wolves. They do see him as a player long term that they have an interest in, but bringing him in on the short term right now from a Leeds perspective, we add cover for Junior Firpo. He'd likely get some minutes, but he's unlikely to want to come and sit on the bench, so it could just be a case that Leeds are feeling out certain names and certain players in certain positions to see what the interest level is or what it will cost or basically who's interested in coming to Leeds and what the details would be around that as well. Would the club demand minutes from the player should he come to Leeds? And that won't be guaranteed at Leeds United, so it'd be interesting one to keep an eye on. He's a decent young fullback. He would definitely add some nice cover there. I would be happy to see him come in and fill that last gap in the defence which needs plugging, and that's getting the left back cover. We have right back cover with Sam Byram, and we've found out that the knock to Jayden Bogle took on Saturday was only a dead leg and he should be fine for the weekend. So all looking okay there at the back. Get one more full back in and I'm pretty happy with that defence. If Max Bober sticks around and stays into the start of the season, that defence looks pretty solid and I'm pretty happy with that. Moving on to the women's team, and they kicked off their campaign this season with their pre-season final against Doncaster Belles, and they lifted the first silverware of the season. Leeds have been busy this summer on the women's side of the game, adding some key personnel to bolster the squad heading into the new campaign, and they lifted the silverware, beating the Doncaster Belles 3-1 in the Julie Chip Chase Trophy yesterday afternoon. Goals came in from Ellie White, Amy Woodruff back on the score sheet, new season. Amy Woodruff doing exactly what she does every season, and CN Gabrielle Keating also getting on the score sheet in that 3-1 win as well. It may be a friendly trophy and it may only be a season opener, but the trophy is named after somebody who represents one of the pioneer of the women's game, a woman that represented the Doncaster Belles before moving on to Leeds United and bringing Leeds United to their first ever women's FA Cup final as well. So nice lineage there, a nice thing for Leeds to be involved in every season. But we will keep an eye on the Leeds women's team throughout the season, as we do with all other Leeds United football teams, but we wish them the best luck in the start of their campaign soon. Moving on to the big story of the day, and this one relates to a potential bid on Johnny Rowe. And in the weekend that broke the news that Crescencio Somerville had left Leeds United, and comments from Daniel Farke around Leeds working on limited resources, it was a surprise to see a name like Johnny Rowe be linked this morning on a fee that could rise closer to £10 million by the time it's done. According to John Percy at The Telegraph, he says that Leeds United have made an initial £7 million bid for the Norwich City winger Johnny Rowe, and is said to be in talks with the player and the club around getting a deal done. The £7 million is said though to be an opening offer for the player, with Norwich City wanting significantly more than that £7 million after seeing Gabriel Sara move to Turkey for £15 million. Norwich are said they've made it clear that they want more for the player. and the talks are ongoing. The player himself is rated at about £9 million, and Leeds have opened up with about 7. This could go to 7.5, 8.5 million in the next couple of days. Leeds are said to be keen on getting this one done. Rowe is an exciting winger and would represent a very good player for Leeds United to bring in to replace Chris Somerville, or at least in that mould for now. And at 21 years of age, he would also represent a long-term prospect for Leeds United into the coming seasons. There are Premier League clubs who have had a look at Johnny Rowe as well, so you would imagine over time, if he keeps developing the way he has been and putting in the performances that he did last season, that he would end up being a Premier League player anyway. It'd be great to get Leeds to get him now and go with Leeds into the Premier League next season, should they be able to get that done. Rowe made 35 appearances for Norwich last season, clocked up 12 goals and 2 assists during that time as well, and is credited with 39 goal contributions or involvements all up throughout the course of the season last year. As I said, the player's rate at about £9 million, so there is a bit of work still to be done on this before any deal is finalised or announced, but Leeds are said to be in talks, as I said, with the club and the player around moving this deal forward and getting a deal done for the player. Graham Smith has also commented on this as well, where he said that the fee is expensive. It's deemed as not impossible from a Leeds United perspective. So you've got Graham Smith and a couple of local journalists getting involved with this as well. So there seems to be a lot of smoke around Johnny Rowe and a lot of interest from Leeds in the player. This is one that we can probably keep an eye on in the next couple of days as well, but we will see how it pans out over the course of this week as we head into the first game of the season against Norwich. Let me know down below what your thoughts on Johnny Rowe coming into Leeds are. Should Leeds be able to get that deal done? For me, I think he's a really good player. I think he would get a lot of Leeds fans off their seats during games. He's a very exciting player. He's a very direct player, and he can chip in with goals, which he did last season in the Norwich side that wasn't great last year, even though they did get into the playoffs. We saw what they were like against Leeds. So adding him to a team with a lot more quality players around them, you'd imagine you'll only see the best from him next year. So one to keep an eye on. And then moving into the final part of today, and this is the rumour mill stuff over the course of the weekend. There was a name that popped up early in the weekend as Chris Somerville's move to West Ham was about to be finalised, and that was the name of Sanjay Hansen, according to reports from Voteball International, who are relatively credible and have a decent track record. They say that Leeds are keeping an eye on the Dutch attacker Sanjay Hansen. Hansen can play wide and he can also play up front. There are some similarities to his style of play and how Chris Somerville plays. But there is interest from other Championship clubs and League One clubs, with Birmingham City being named as another club interested in the player. Hansen signed for NEC last season from Ajax, and in his first season clocked up 6 goals and 7 assists in 38 games. He did miss a chunk of the season with an injury as well, which is part of the reason why his goal contributions are a little bit lower than you would probably like. But again, a young player with a high ceiling and an exciting player that the Leeds are said to just be keeping an eye on right now. It may turn out to be something, but again, I think going back to the initial story about Hugo Bueno, I think Leeds have got several names in several positions and they're feeling out which is the best move for them to make at this point. There are 3 gaps for me that need to be filled. They'll need to sort out the left back position, get cover for Junior. They'll need to bring in a central midfielder. There's still reports about Dejan Ljubic floating about, and then they'll need to replace Chris Somerville in some capacity. Replacing him doesn't mean spending a huge amount of money. It means getting the right player to be able to push Leeds into the Premier League next season, and that should be all that matters. As I said, we will be speaking to Kieran Maguire later today, but keep an eye out for that video tomorrow afternoon when that goes live. I'll remind you tomorrow morning's news, and we'll have a live stream tonight at 8 p.m. with Jerry McNamee, formerly of LS11, looking back at the game against Valencia and looking ahead to the start of this season's campaign. Have a great rest of your day, and I will talk to you later. See you. Bye.